before I keep going. We have, I think, gone through 2 sessions of this now, and I think we probably have flushed out some of the questions. I think one place to start is, you know, what does Climate Plus do that some of these other programs that are a part of this overall working group don't do? I think, as Bunny alluded to in the intro, some of the programs are really for kind of quick default analysis, you know, kind of single aspect, quick high-level decisions. As I've learned from the last 2 sessions here with Blanca, the Climate Plus certainly can go a little farther than some of these other programs. And I guess it's Rhino is the underlying you know, the software where you model, and basically you've kind of gone through, Blanca, that you make 2 models. You kind of run 2 models based on the engines that kind of back up the you know, that back up the calculations, the analysis that's done here. So I'll turn it over to you to run through again.
Thank you. So yeah, as he mentioned, right now you still have to do 2 models, one for geometries, one for daylight, as you can see on the screen, and another one for energy. They are working in not the near future, but they have in mind to study, and they are studying it already, how to pair this in a way that you would only need 1 model. And the reason for this is just that the energy model is running Energy Plus in the background, and it's based on thermal zones. And the daylight model is running radiance in the background. So you still need all the depth of your materials, your walls, and every surface. So you can see here this icon toolbar, and you can drag it down here. So I have run a few analyses for you to see what the result looks like, and then we can run the same daylight model so you can see how fast it actually is. So for daylight, let me show you first what are the options that you have. So you have site analysis, which involves all weather data, the sun path diagram, you have point in time daylight, you have annual daylight, which they have called daylight availability. They're working in including all the other daylight metrics. And this is basically based on what you can see on the screen is based on LEED. So what LEED considers good daylight and not, all the blind schedules considered by LEED, and so on. Then you have a glare. This for me is super exciting, the way they calculate glare. They have radiance rendering, which is the typical glare image that we are more used to. You have a thermal model, which is your energy model, and you have radiation map. And so let me show you here. So this is what the results look like for daylight. You can customize the way it looks. You can add nodes, you can add normals, you can show the values on the surface. You can pick your style. Is it disk or is it a full surface? You can also edit the colors. So here you can see that you can pick whatever legend that you want, and you can even customize your own legend. So you can use the one that Diva uses, or Ladybug, Honeybee use, if you're not used to that, or you can use like what used to be used in Ecotech. And here the green one is just showing you green passes LEED, gray doesn't pass LEED. And you have here, oh, you have 1 credit for LEED. This is your ASC. This is how much your blinds are operating when they are down. And then what is super exciting as well about this is that with 1 run, you get a whole annual. So you have your annual one, this is like an average, but then you have the whole year to select from in terms of point in time. So you can go to any day of the year, any time of the year, and you have your point in time with one run. Then if we pull it out here, actually, we'll see also, oops, when you get to have like a bigger model, you also have like all your areas here, so your different grid surfaces, and you can customize this with whatever name that you want and so on. For glare, you usually, this is super exciting for me because glare has always been very tricky to analyze because it's merely based on your range of view. So maybe I'm looking forward and I don't have any glare, but if I tilt 10 degrees this way, oh, now I have the window in my range of view and I'm having glare. So it was very tricky to do a glare study. And this, for me, it's great because they do it as a daylight study. So they have point, like a grid based point. And each point of the grid has like a pi, and each pi is that range of view. So it's telling you how it is performing. And at the same time, you have here your annual glare analysis, and you can also do specific days. And on top of that, you can click in this, and you have your radiance image from that cone that I selected. But the exciting part about this is that it's not a static image. You can like drag it and move all over. So this is also something that no other tool does. Like the way they calculate glare, no other tool does. And for me, it's amazing. And then, I close it down. And then if we go to energy, we can see the building results. We can see energy flow, zone, energy use intensity. We also have the carbon, the operational carbon. We have the energy cost. We have the savings versus the baseline, and the baseline is the one that the AIA uses. And then, which is, you can see here. You can export all the data into EDF or PDF reports. Someone that is more used to doing energy models will know that the EDF file is something that where you can customize a lot of things. And then in this, if you click this button is where you would do the report automatically to your DDX for the AIA 2030 reporting. And also, you also have the Grasshopper part of it. So Grasshopper is mainly for energy, and you can dig more, you can dig deeper into your energy analysis. So you have spatial comfort, UTCI, you have phase results instead of per zone, you have per surface. You have AFN flows, which is your natural ventilation. So you can do a lot more within Grasshopper. This Climate Studio is developed by the same people as Diva. So by default, they will have everything that Diva has included here. And they're also working right now in view analysis. So probably shortly, we also have the opportunity to run view analysis here. And I wanted to show you also, for example, if we're running a daylight analysis, we have the weather file, we have the materials, and you see like the very extensive material library that they have, and you can add to it as well. If they don't have what you need, you can add to it yourself, you can customize it. Then you have your blind selection and your grid. And if we go to energy, these two are my zones. So the meeting room is a room back here, and then the open office is the one here. And here you can customize how many people you have in terms of your occupancy. You can customize your HVAC, your ventilation, hot water, your construction materials. If you don't touch it, it's just like by default through here through the like zone type. So when I set it up, they have also like a huge library of building type and zone types within each building type. Then also for daylight, sorry, I keep jumping back and forth. If we go into the annual aspect of it, oh yeah, up here you have export data. This is a CSV file. And then you have a PDF. The PDF report is basically what you would submit to LEED for the credit compliance. So if you were to have a building with multiple floors, you'll have a summary of just one floor, of each floor, and then per zone, as here.
Blanca, I just want to...
And then you have all the inputs of your model.
Mm-hmm. And Blanca, to share a couple of things we've talked about in the other sessions with the group. You're showing one space modeled right now, but this certainly is applied to whole building models. I think also, one thing that I think we mentioned a little bit clearly differentiates this program from some of the others that run off of defaults is it's still an architectural interface, the Rhino the platform, but you can really kind of continue to manipulate this through the process. And one of the questions that was asked in the last session was just about how this is integrated and how you're integrating this into your workflow at HOK. And I think, whereas some of the other programs that were in the tables and in the other work sessions, you kind of wouldn't want to use them after a certain point in a project. It seems like this, this program, the software, can continue to be used in an increasingly sophisticated way, but still an architectural way. We're changing materials, manipulating things spatially, manipulating performance of glazing perhaps, and shading devices and things like that. So it's not like an engineering model. And then you mentioned that later on in your workflow, you'll, as the project moves into later phases, you'll actually bring Revit geometry into. I guess you create a new model based on the Revit, or do you just remove?
No, I just import the Revit model. I export it as a DWG, and then I open it in Rhino. And the only thing that you have to do is, if you were to work in Honeybee and Ladybug, you would have to rebuild it because it would be very heavy for it to run, or at least that's been my experience in the past 5 years. With this one, the only thing that you would have to do is just get rid of the blocks, of the Revit blocks. So a lot of the times, the blocks are part of things that you don't need, like whether it's furniture or whether it's mechanical systems or fixtures and things like that. If there's still some blocks that you want to keep, you just explode the block and you just leave it at that. And the only thing that you would need to do is sort out your layers. So the daylight model works in a way like any other tool out there. Each layer belongs to like a different material for daylight, and for energy, it works on surfaces. So once you're importing from Revit, the only thing that you would have to do is just make sure that each layer is in the right, each object is in the right layer for whatever analysis you're going to run. And yes, and as you said, like this is like a 2 rooms, but I'm currently running like a 24-story building. And it doesn't take like 20 seconds, like, or less than 20 seconds that this does, but it does take like less than 5 minutes.
So we have a couple of minutes left. I do want to make sure that if anybody has any questions they want to either put in the chat or ask, please unmute yourself and ask. Blanca and I have now done this one this is our third run at this, so I'd be curious if there's anything that that you guys are seeing about that kind of differentiates this program, or if you have questions about what this program can do that others you've been looking at can't.
Yeah. What we've done in the previous session as well for you to see is just to run one test of like a daylight, and you see it's done. So 3 passes. So what it does multiple passes, and you can stop it at any time. So it has taken really like 2 seconds for it to do one pass. You can let it run more and more passes. Like at some point it will stop depending on like the settings that you have set up. But from 3 passes to 30 passes is just a matter of like a few decimal points, like a few, instead of being 47.6, maybe it's 47.9. But it's not a huge difference. But you can let it run, and at 30 passes, it will be like less than a minute for sure.
And as I think you showed, I think you may have shown it in this session already, but you can manipulate the materials of all of these components. There's a pretty robust library there.
Yeah, it works like Diva. So any layer that you have turned off, it won't take it into account, or any layer that doesn't have a material, it won't take it into account. No, it's not. But you have like the blinds, so you just select the windows, and if you want to edit them, you have like multiple types of blinds, and you can build your own. Then you have your grids, which is that, and you can also edit the spacing between the grids, the height of the grids, your occupancy schedule. And then for materials, I don't know, it's not showing. But for materials, you also have, sorry, it's not showing right now. My server is going crazy since last week. But yeah, you also have an extensive material library, and you can add to it also if you wanted to.
And Blanca,
can you talk a little?
Go ahead.
Can you talk just a little bit about the opportunities to do occupancy schedules, or even things like blind schedules, so that you're telling them when you might operate them?
Yeah. So right now you could do a CSV file and import that into here. So that's how you would do it at the moment.
Okay.
I think they're working on like maybe doing it. The thing here is like they're trying to find a good balance between being able to go into nitty-gritty stuff, but because they are developing this for mainly like architects, they also want to restrict some things to make sure that not all of things are manipulated. But you can still, if you have the knowledge and you've been doing this for a while, you would know how to do it in a CSV file, and you can import it. And it's the same with the materials. So you cannot add a material directly from here, but you can build your own and then add it into here in the background, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like Diva.
Yeah.
So we have a few more seconds, Blanca. Now, how long has this program, the software, been around? And like, real quickly, where do you think it's going? You're seeing it kind of growing pretty quickly.
So they launched back in February. I've been part of the executive group for a year and a half now. And they're still developing a lot of things, like they want to do the view analysis and keep developing things.
Oh, sorry.